The task for the Reds is simple tonight: avoid defeat, and they are guaranteed European football after Christmas. Indeed, a win could also seal top spot in the Europa group if the other result goes their way. It is matchday 5 of this season's Europa League. Liverpool host LASK. Kick-off here at Anfield is 8 p.m. Good evening. Welcome along to Matchday Live. I'm joined this evening by Neil Mellor and Farrah Williams. We'll hear from both the guys very shortly. But first, let's head straight inside to get the breaking Liverpool team news from Peter McDowell, who's pitch side tonight with Tash Dowie.
To pitch side, you can probably tell by the steam coming off my breath at the moment that it's bitterly cold down here as we prepare for this big game tonight. The team that is top of Group E on 9 points. Not been the best week for Jurgen Klopp where injuries are concerned. You know about Alisson Becker. He's somebody that has been a mainstay for Liverpool now for nearly a year since he last missed the game. They're hopeful of having him back for Manchester United. For Diogo Jota, it is going to be slightly longer. So did that make him rethink his team for tonight? Just two survivors from the team that played against Manchester City. So let's confirm that team for you then. In full for tonight. So as you know, Kevin Kelleher will play in goal, and it's a team that has become so used to the Europa League now. Across that back four, Gomez and Tsimikas, the two fullbacks. Kwanzaa and Konate will partner each other at the heart of Liverpool's defence. And then again in midfield that are really familiar with each other now from this competition. Ryan Gravenberch, who scored in both Anfield European games, Endo and Elliott, who've started all 4 games in this competition, and Salah plays. He always plays, doesn't he? He will be up top there with Diaz and Gakpo as well. And some interest on the substitutes bench. 2 youngsters who are back in training again and have done really well this week. Cade Gordon and Connor Bradley amongst all of the experience on that Liverpool substitutes bench. Natasha Dowie, LFC Women's Ambassador and of course former Liverpool striker as well, is going to be watching this one with Steve Hunter for tonight. Any surprises in there? I'm talking about Salah, particularly with the injury to Diogo Jota. Is that a bit of a risk to leave him in there tonight?
Yes and no. We're talking about Mo Salah. He's a machine. You know, he wants to play 90 minutes every game, and I think it's a must-win game for us tonight. Let's get the job done, and I think probably playing Salah and starting Salah shows Klopp's intention.
That is a player that will go to the AFCON. He could be missing for a month, like you say. You know, he wants to play in every game. He wants to break records. There's sometimes a bit about managers where you think once one injury comes, they want to almost prevent the second and the third coming along, and it can carry a little bit of risk, can't it?
Yeah, it can. I think it's that risk-free reward, but I do think that Mo Salah's a different breed. He really is. He looks after himself well, and, you know, I think if Klopp had any doubts about it, he wouldn't be playing him. But hopefully they can get the job done early tonight, and then maybe then Salah can get rest and you can bring on the likes of Doak, who we know can do a job.
In goal, we're not used to it, are we? Seeing too much of Kevin Kelleher, which we will do for Premier League games, but this has been his competition. The Cups have been his competition. This is almost, you know, the time has come for him to prove how good he is once again.
Yeah, and he's great. You know, I think that's where at Liverpool we're very lucky to have 2 top quality keepers, and, you know, it's a hard position for him. He's playing against basically competition against the best keeper in the world, but this competition is his. He always does well in the cup games, and then he's going to get valuable game time as well in the Premier League now, which probably he wasn't expecting. But whenever he's called upon, he always does a great job, and we're really fortunate to have someone like him as a number 2.
How does it change now? It's a game every 2.8 days if you look at the mean average. Right up until Boxing Day, Liverpool are going to be playing every couple of days.
It's tough, isn't it? You know, as a player, you kind of used to love this, to be honest, you know, just playing games, you know, no training involved, rest and recover. But I think with the squad and the depth that Klopp has here at Liverpool, you know, obviously losing likes of Jota isn't ideal, and obviously the keeper Alisson, but I still think we have enough quality, and with the games that we've got coming up, you know, we've got good momentum right now, so we need to carry on that tonight with a good performance and 3 points.
Interesting midfield as well. Harvey Elliott has influenced nearly every game that he's played in, if not all of them. He might feel he's been slightly unlucky not to start more games this year.
Agreed, massively. I think against City, I was really surprised to not see him come on earlier, with the likes of Gakpo coming on into midfield, Gravenberch getting on ahead of him, you know, even the likes of Curtis Jones. I think every time Harvey's come on, he has had a real impact. But I think the great thing about Harvey Elliott is he's a proper pro. He plays with such maturity of someone that's still so young, you know, and when he plays, he makes the most of it. You know, he's just a proper team player, so hopefully tonight again he has a big impact, and, you know, he's red through and through, which is great to see, and he's a big team player.
A lot of experience on the bench. He'll be hoping he doesn't need them tonight, Jurgen Klopp, do you think? Or will he look to give a few of them a run out?
Hopefully we doesn't need him. Ideally we can rest Mo Salah, get some early goals and he can get rested and bring on the fresh legs and the youngsters that you said as well. But we need to win tonight. It's not a case of rotating. They need to get the job done. It's really important we get the 3 points tonight.
Yeah, and Anfield, as ever, is expected. They always are on these European nights. Where group games and Jurgen Klopp are concerned, they've won 30 out of 44 here on home soil.
Thank you, guys. We should probably throw up the group table going into tonight's game, just to remind people of how things sit in Group E. The interesting thing is the top two could be decided tonight if Liverpool gets something here and Toulouse were to win their game. That is the top two sorted. But going into tonight's games, all four sides still have something to play for. So the matches are very much still alive. There is an excitement around both the games tonight. But yeah, Liverpool have got themselves into a good position. It's about pressing home that advantage, getting it wrapped up as the guys have touched upon, and making up for the frustration of what happened over in France.
Yeah, we're in a really strong position, as we expected to be. Obviously, we're in the Europa League this season. We wanted to be in the Champions League. We've got a good chance of winning the Europa League this season, but get the job done. It was a surprising, disappointing result, but if you're not quite at it in whatever competition you play in, then you're gonna get a disappointing result, and that's what happened in Toulouse. We weren't quite at it. We had that disappointment, the setback. Responded well on the back of that. But yeah, if we get the 3 points tonight, we put ourselves in a really strong position. We're definitely through, and obviously avoid the playoff. That's the big thing, isn't it? Don't want to be in a playoff. That's an extra game more than anything else. If we do finish second, but we won't.
Looking at the team for tonight, it's kind of gone with the same pattern that's happened in most of these European games so far. Farah, pretty strong. He hasn't put a big load of kids in from there, which we thought maybe before a ball was kicked he might do this season. He's gone strong by and large once more.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you heard the press conference, I was listening to him yesterday, and he was keen to get this game, 3 points from this game and make obviously then the group game, finishing top of the group. So they don't have to play that playoff game. But I think he spoke in that, and he spoke about the intentions. Every game they want to win, they have momentum. You think how well they're playing in the Premier League now. You need to carry that through into the Europa League, and as Neil mentioned, they are one of the favourites to win this tournament.
That's the key word, momentum, isn't it? Come back from an international break, an untimely one, we've not enjoyed them, but they've come back. Early kick-off at City, great result. Take a lot of confidence from that one into this game. And then we're into December, 8 games in December. There's a lot of big games. You want to go into those games with a little bit of momentum. And okay, we're playing LASK tonight. We're expected to win. We've got a really strong lineup there. But you don't want to be dropping points. You don't want to have a disappointing result thinking, okay, we've got to build that momentum again. We got it against City. Let's build on that tonight.
You've got to start well, though. You have a European game here at Anfield. These fans will get right behind you. You've got to start well, and you've got to start early. I think if they don't, and then the fans go a bit quiet, I think that's when LASK can get on top of them. So they have to start fast. They have to start well. But if they don't, we need these Liverpool fans to get behind them, because they can make it really difficult for any team coming here at Anfield.
And that's particularly the case in these Europa games, where it's maybe not the household names that the fans are used to seeing in European matchday, because it is the Europa League. So maybe they do need that extra little lift, especially in the opening stage, just to remind people, hey, come on, get involved.
They do, and look, Liverpool are the best fans in Europe, aren't they? You think of the European nights here, whether it be Champions League or Europa League, it's the fans that give them that extra little bit of spite, that lifts the players, that you've seen last-minute winners here, Steven Gerrard back in the day, and it's the fans that carry them through. And I think they'll be really important tonight on a night like this, as you mentioned, not a big team that they're playing against, but a strong team that Liverpool are putting out to win the game.
Tash and Pete were talking about Kevin Kelleher's inclusion tonight, obviously because of the injury to Alisson. Injury to Alisson is a bad thing, but no doubts about the replacement that's coming in. We should probably move past the idea that he's this young and inexperienced lad. He's a full international, he's 25. He's got the wherewithal, he's got the experience to deal with this tonight.
Yeah, I think there was a worry in the summer that he might be a player that left the football club maybe on loan, and you're thinking, okay, well, have we got a real strong enough candidate to step up if the unfortunate thing happened, which has happened now with Alisson being injured. Thankfully, he has stuck about. He's had to be patient, knowing that his game time is in cup competitions, but now he's got an opportunity to play back-to-back games. He's done that very few times. In fact, he's never done that in the Premier League, because he's not played that many Premier League games. So now he's got a little run in the side. I think a big thing for him is the players in front of him. The fact that Virgil van Dijk's been superb so far this season. He's not playing tonight, but he will be at the weekend against Fulham. So, yeah, he's had to be patient with that timing. He knew this game was coming, so he'll want to play well today and take that into that performance against Fulham. But yeah, absolutely gutted to hear that Alisson's out. How long for, we don't know, because he's the best in the world. He proved that again against Manchester City. So, yeah, I really like Kevin Keller. He's a really well-liked lad in the group. And the games he's played, he has done well.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point Neil makes. He hasn't had a run of consistent games. He's having to come in, play, drop out, come in, play, drop out. He's got a chance now to build up a bit of rhythm, a bit of confidence, and players benefit from rhythm.
Of course, and it's so difficult for a goalkeeper, especially when they're coming in cup games. There's never a consistent back four sat in front of them. So for Alisson, he's pretty much had, take out the injuries that Liverpool have had over the season and last season in particular, they've had a consistent back four. It's really difficult for keepers to get that, communication that is key for goalkeepers with a back line. But he now has a few games, as I said, the injury to Alisson is huge for Liverpool. But as you said there, it gives him an opportunity to get that run of games with a consistent back four in front of him and really get a feel for playing in a Liverpool shirt consistently.
Yeah.
But I think you can see here, look, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, and the difficult he is when you're at a big club and one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Alisson. It's difficult to sit behind him and wait for an opportunity. But you need two, fantastic keepers if you are to compete in every competition. So it's great that he stayed in the summer you mentioned, Neil, because he could have gone out.
I think it's a big point that having a settled back four rather than changes. But there is changes in the Europa League. But when it's back to the Premier League, I think you'll benefit from that.
There's the plus and minuses of being at a club with the best goalkeeper in the world. Yes, you're learning from the very best, but then you watched him in training and think, I can't really complain I'm not getting a go because that guy's unbelievable. And that's the kind of side he has to deal with, I guess, moving forward.
Well, his last Premier League game was Southampton.
Yeah,
which wasn't great.
Yeah,
but his last home Premier League game was against Brighton when it was COVID. The fans weren't even here at Anfield, so it shows how long it's been. He's never experienced Anfield Premier League with the fans. That's a big thing for him. But no, he's a trusted goalkeeper to come in, and he's at a top level. Not Alisson's level, but he's a very top level.
Also, the more games he plays, the more chance he has to impress whoever comes in as new Ireland manager, of course, and stake his claim for more international recognition. OK, we'll pause things just there to remind you of what we've got coming up in and around the game here tonight. From 8, we've got live audio commentary of all the action with Steve and Tash. And then from 10, we are back with the Matchday reaction show to analyse what has unfolded here at Anfield and bring you reaction from the Liverpool dressing room too. And then on Go and TV from midnight, you can watch the match in its entirety. OK, we're going to have to say goodbye to our viewers on social media just now. But if you've been watching on Facebook or X or one of the many other platforms we are at, and you fancy staying with us, you can sign up to TV and Go by going to the official website, liverpoolfc.com/watch. All the details are there. After the break, we will hear from Jurgen Klopp. We will see you very soon. Goodbye.